Hello, it's me again. I have returned. We are back for another go at the poison apple. We're all going to take a big old bite, and then I'm going to get sick and go blah, and then it'll go away soon. So that's the pattern that we do on the channel. Hi, everybody. It's me, Hank. We're playing a game. Playing Valheim. The reason my fellow here is in his undie-roos is because the I got killed. So today's mission is to drive a boat to where my body is, which has all my cool stuff. My one nice Sunday best suit. I just had a new bow and arrow. We got to go get it, and it's a long, slow drive. So I figured some nude sailing would be a perfect time to retouch, rekindle my wonderful YouTube channel and the YouTube audience from to whom I am forever indebted and grateful, and I am always running away from because I do not produce content consistently in any way at all. Why is my career so shitty? Um, yeah, it's back. I used to do a lot of gaming on Suck Professor. That's my other. I have a bunch of YouTube channels. I've tried a bunch of experiments, and I do want to get back to the channel for cats. I have a cat channel that's supposed to entertain cats. I also have a YouTube channel that's about cats, but that one's for people. Uh, so, uh, Winners and Losers, the podcast I started in 2010 when I started doing my during my comedy career, which is probably long gone. Oh, here, sorry, we woke up. Look at that giant fish. So, I'd love to take y'all around, do like a slow tour, but I'm just gonna get going. I'm not really gonna focus on explaining this game too much. Honestly, this is just sort of an impulsive decision I've made. I've been getting ready and kind of always threatening to get back up and get back on the saddle. Um, I think it's been almost 8 months, and yeah, one of the things that I'm definitely going to talk about. I hope it's not something that makes people uncomfortable or gets repetitive, although I'm sure it probably will seem that way. Um, if you watched one of the last episodes, I was talking about neurodivergence and how reading articles about autism seemed very weirdly familiar to me. And in that whole vein, I have learned that I'm autistic, that I'm absolutely fucking as autistic as anybody's ever been. It is such a revelation in my life. It happened last year. Totally random thing happened. Okay, so we got to go first. We got to acquire stuff to build a boat. This is just where I keep all my treasure. Yeah, it is a cool little base I've been building. This game has, if you watched my Valheim playthrough, I never actually finished it. This is a whole different map, but that's on Suck Professor. There's like 180. I did a lot. It was like the first year of the pandemic, and I was just doing that. And that was sort of my tether to sanity was a Valheim playthrough at which I very slowly and methodically played it. Uh, got better at the game while rambling about politics and other stuff. Is this channel going to become a video game channel? Hopefully, but no, I'm not like switching over to like raw video games. This is honestly an excuse for me to talk while doing something, which I'm pretty good at. And there's a lot of funny random moments. It's a beautiful game. It's a low res game, but look how nice this looks. So it runs so well on my computer. I have an older computer. I have a GTX 1070, which was pretty pretty badass at the time. It was the Scottie Pippen of the video cards back when the 1080 Ti was the Michael Jordan. Sorry, Scottie. Scottie Pippen, man. Michael Jordan, I'm sure Michael Jordan would have been very successful without him, but his teams, those guys that supported him, that really shows you that solidarity is the way. I don't know if that's the precise definition, but so we're picking out wood. Let me show you what happened. Here's my map. I mark these things because I want to go back to them. I hadn't played this game in a while, and my roommate was like, "We're playing Valheim. Come on, we'll do it." And I was like, "All right, I'll see what the newer version." And now I'm just into it again. I love my roommate likes to see all the whole thing and get to the end of the story stuff, which I'm trying to do, but I'm not in a rush. I love the building stuff. Look at this little house. It has woodworking basically. It's a way to do woodworking. Um, I have a lot of updates. See, I'm wearing a wrist brace. I have wrist braces all over because both of my wrists have suffered some vibrating tools injuries, and I am in a state where I can't use them fully. So I can push a door open, and it'll go, "Ow! Don't do that," which is rough on a guy who used to being a big, strong, hunky man, and now I go ouch when I touch a door. Eventually, I think I'll get some health care at some point in another life, perhaps. No, I'm working on doing that this year, and I think with proper rehab, I can come back from this. But it's been, and I should be just using YouTube to. Oh yeah, so one of the things they added was fishing, and I've been really enjoying trying to catch this different sizes of fish. So it's kind of why I was like, you know what, I did that on Suck Professor, and it's a weird format for just putting out a show out of nowhere, but this is just sort of a test anyway. Not like I'm going to gauge much off of this one video's performance. It's more just like I'm trying to shake out all the pieces because I had to relearn how to use OBS. Like you have to kind of like get used to things. So, but it's just an enjoyable game. Honestly, I wish there was like a persistent community here because it actually is designed to be multiplayer. When you build like this big longship boat, it's got all these seats and stuff, and then I drive around in it, by myself, which is sort of like my whole life in a way. But my roommate might show up in here at some point. He's the guy who I did Suck Professor with for a bunch of years. A swell fella. I wouldn't ever hesitate to go to war for that yet young man. He had a big open heart surgery a few years back that we talked about when we used to do podcasts on Suck Professor. So, yeah. So I'm naked and I got to go get my body. And then back to the video game. No, so what I did was I was exploring, and the wind, you can, yeah, you don't, the wind moves around, and so you can also go slow if you don't have no wind, but having the wind behind you is helpful. And I knew that I wanted to go like across, but I got chased by like big snakes, and then as I got closer, I wound up getting myself killed. This little green bit is like a very small refuge, but it's close to these spots, which are filled with dudes that just mess me up. And the dude that messed me up was a huge mosquito, like a giant hypodermic needle that flew and stabbed me in the death hole. So I'm dead. So what we got to do is gather up a couple of things. There's a whole system to how the food and the stamina, and so it's a very elaborate game that sort of is presented in I find it a very beautiful kind of simple presentation. You can build any kind of base you want. As a woodworker, I love this part of it. This is what we're looking at right here has nothing at all close to what I want to build. It's kind of this big ass thing. It's sort of a bird. Let me run around to the front. How's it looking on there? Yeah, so it's just practice for me to do the editing or do the recording, do the editing. Get these graphic bits out in there, and I'm going to change things up and work on things. Yeah, look at this thing. So I got this kind of sloped, sort of. You can use the geometry of the different pieces. This does actually kind of look like I was hoping. I wanted it to look like a snake mouth, but this is partial. Everything here is sort of partially done. But you can have victims. See, that's kind of fun. You can build prisons and lock stuff in them. You can breed the local animals. We murder a lot of deer, so content warning. They sound like barking dogs, really annoying barking dogs. So they're asking for it. Yeah. So my hope is that the game is interesting. I don't know if I'm going to do like full on playthroughs, like from 1 minute to the next, unless somehow that builds into an audience request. But first, I got to build an audience, and the most important part about an audience is consistency, which is my worst thing. Learning I'm autistic. Let's keep moving though, so I can talk about that while we're on the water, because it's going to get dark and we're probably going to get chased by some stuff in the water. We'll see. Maybe I shouldn't have spoiled that. That would have been a fun surprise. Okay, focus here, buddy. What are we doing? Yeah, it was very much a revelation in my life to be reading an article here. I want to write a book about it. Like I want to do a book. There's sort of a genre of personal memoirs around people who learn they're autistic or who are either diagnosed at young ages. I'm not formally diagnosed yet. I'm hoping to seek for that soon. It's very expensive. It costs thousands of dollars. So that, not going to happen. But self-diagnosis is considered valid within the autism community. Of course, there's some disagreement about that. But don't ever tell an autistic person who says they're self-diagnosed that you don't agree with that. That's a super shitty thing to do. Over 90% of people who self-identify end up, when they get tested, they are formally diagnosed. And that itself is sort of like there are trained people that do that, but it's also one of those processes that can be fraught too, because they're not just measuring your height. They're doing this long, weird interview to see how your brain works and kind of get you to unmask. Um, Beard falling out more, still losing hairs from my face, going through baldness round two. I'm trying to build a hammer here. Let me see what am I missing here? I need to. Okay, I need a little bit of stone. It's not stone. My inventory system, while it does work, it is functional. This leaves a little bit to be desired. You know what? Let's put on some clothes here. I got a little bit of leather. Who doesn't love a big bald daddy in leather, huh? I have a body just like this guy, by the way. I'd show you, but I don't want to get banned from YouTube. Very hunky. Just a big old Viking bod. This armor sucks, but at least now you don't have to look at my sinful nudity. So yeah, learning you're autistic. So okay, light's too bright. I've had sensory issues my entire life. I've also had not that every single situation has always been like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, but like all the factors. I'm not going to go through everything. Little pieces of this story will crop up as I go through and talk and maybe update some other things about life. I still have an interest in talking about politics and all that, but I don't think I'm going to turn this channel into like, here's a video of. Well, I did want to do one about Bill Maher. For some reason, Bill Maher defending Jesus has been rattling around in my brain a whole bunch. He was. Oh, I have 2 pairs of pants. I was just wondering, like, what the fuck? He was somewhat instrumental. He was an influential person during my earlier phase of kind of cultural figures that you sort of follow when he was kind of the atheist guy who was the comedian, politically incorrect, and not that I'm some big Bill Maher guy, but he seems to have taken a certain kind of weird turn. As I think society has just gone off the deep end. I think we're well past the point where, okay, let me focus. Where we're in the middle of some kind of great filter, which is part of the Fermi paradox you may have heard of, where like, oh gee, why don't civilizations last? Why aren't we seeing civilizations spreading out throughout the galaxy? So the assumption is, well, there must be filters that kill them. Asteroids, big impacts that can take us out. A gamma ray burst could. That's when like a magnetar collides with another one, or like 2 white dwarves or something, or 2 neutron stars, or I don't know really what it is, but it's a huge. It's the strongest blast of radiation in the entire universe. Black holes are probably stronger, but they suck it all in. That's probably an oversimplification because they do spit out jets out there at rotating axis. But that's when the accretion. Okay, see, slow down. A lot of lights are off in here, but all right. So we've got. It is a little hard. I can't remember. Oh, I know that. Hold on. All right, hang on. Brightness. Finally putting on one of my black shirts for when I was thin. There we go. Oh God, that's better. That's freaking aquarium. I'm way more sensitive to light and noise now. That's if you have your own story with autism and stuff, you might understand what masking is and how it kind of can crumble apart, sort of. That's a thing that happens. I think there's a bigger trend that could be reported on in the world, in America and the world, of folks like myself who are older and then learn they're autistic. Because I did have, now that I've gone through it all, well, there's still a lot more processing, but you look back at every little stage of life and go, oh God, because I've always dealt with depression and hyperactive thinking and difficulty regulating my emotions and social dysregulation, friction, not necessarily like out there causing fights and stuff, but like just not fitting in, struggling to connect. All my developmental stages of life, like virginity and like emotional development, were all like a little. That's also a hallmark. Every fucking not. You got to understand though, different autistic people have very different experiences. It's a fascinating thing. And the book I was talking about, if I were to write a book, of course, this is subject to change. Let me get some food and we'll start heading on our way. First, the working title I have is Ow, My Autism. Ow, My Autism. Although that does kind of denote some of the different language ways that we should be careful about language in terms of autism, which is something that needs to be expressed when I do. Um, but the first sentence would be something like, uh, I don't know anything about autism. I don't know much about autism, but I'm glad I'm not autistic. I thought as I started to read an article that would describe me with 95% accuracy and change my life forever. It was the most surprising fucking thing I've ever had happen to me. It was crazy. I was just reading on, honestly, it was TikTok. I saw the word neurodivergent. I took vocab class twice in college because it was a really great class. I learned a lot and I loved it. I loved etymology. And I was like, well, that means brain different something. I'm sure that's like a way of a newer term that, but I don't really know what it is. I've never actually read an article. Let me look it up. Then I look up, I read it. Okay, I see. It's sort of a category that reorients. Instead of saying I have something wrong with me mentally, it's saying my brain works differently. I think that's a healthy shift. Um, and then I see the word autism, and I'm aware of my vacancies in my brain. I'm hyper aware of the whole fucking freak show going on inside my head at all times. And it's caused me so much fun. It can be fun. It's not all okay. I'm running over to shoot that guy. Um okay. Jesus, I'm sorry. I know this is terrible trying to do it all at once. But so yeah, it's yeah, and then I, out of curiosity and also acknowledgement that I had a sense of what it might just based on like 90s ambient impressions, like probably a kid, probably a boy. It's definitely not just boys as it used to be thought, or mostly it's probably 50-50. Um, making noises or unable to communicate and requiring tons of care and seemingly to being and forgive me here, but like a big burden. And you kind of have this notion of like, oh my gosh, I hope that's okay. I hope those people are getting some help, and what's causing this, and why is this a thing? But I don't hang out with parents. I don't run around in circles. I do, not that I'm reading articles and Googling, but I do have a notion of, we need to find wood for the, okay, so here's what I'm going to show you with the hammer. I do have a notion of like, okay, we need a lot more. Okay, bronze nails, 30 fine wood, 10 deer hide. Of other things that I had thought I was, like for a stretch, I thought I was highly sensitive person, HSP. I probably still kind of would fit the criteria. I'd see stuff on Instagram and read it, and like, highly sensitive people need more time to themselves and need to recover. And like, yeah, that was always me. I've always been like that. It's gotten much worse in recent years though, too. And my depression has been kicking over into like anxiety, and I've also been having a lot of financial struggles and stress. My beard is falling out. No idea why. Now I can't work. At least I can't do grunt work. I can still do video editing. I'm actually hoping to start maybe teaching video editing. It seems to me like I'd be really good at helping people work on their projects, like a beginner video editor or even Photoshop. I really know these programs really well. So I'm going to be making some tutorials, and I've already looked into sort of how do you find, the websites where you can connect with people. I've been training with a buddy or helping a friend who has made a couple short films, and he paid some 12. All right, sorry, I'm lost track. Okay, we need 30 fine wood, and I can tell like he's learning so much more from me because I know I'm not following some course and I'm not some boring old teacher. We get on Zoom and I can see exactly what he's doing wrong, and he's frustrated because he doesn't know what he's doing wrong, and I do. I have spent so much of the last 15 years of my life, kind of like in Valheim, like how you clear a map. You clear all that. Look how big this map is too. I've never even been into the outer sections. I know that's where some of the scarier monsters are. So this is a whole cool progression to this game, which is why it's also kind of fun. I mean, maybe it's for an ongoing series. But if you think of Premiere Pro as like a gigantic haunted forest, because it's really intimidating when you start. But I've been clearing every little spot. Although there's definitely some chunks of Premiere Pro that I'm not a professional at. I haven't done professional commercial or film editing. So there's like project collaboration stuff that I don't really have in me. But for the kind of stuff people are doing on YouTube, the kind of stuff people are doing on vertical formats, TikTok, whatever, it's not brainless to me. It's just I've done it a lot. I haven't had a lot of social life. I've been doing the video editing. Suck Professors, where I really did most of my leveling up. That's the video game one. So I'm hoping that I can like. It's kind of like being a piano teacher. Like I'm hoping that I can connect with people who are trying to learn it themselves. And I think I'd be much more like if I want to be expensive though. Like I'm gonna have to start lower, like 20 or 30 or 40. But what do piano teachers charge? Like I want it to be like 60 or 70 or 80. Like I want it to be pretty high because it should be. Because I think in like 4 hours with me, if you end up spending $300 or something. Oh, see, I don't even have I do have some weapons hanging up on the in the wall in here. No, not that one. Here we go. There's an axe right there, and we don't need the bone shield. Good name for a condom brand, wouldn't it be? So these are these little guys. They come by. They're like the starter dudes. They're not really much of a threat. They're actually, this is the home inspector. All right, I'm gonna check for the mold. Oh, you got water leaking down here at the corner. Just something. Who's your electrician? They're really easy. They're pretty harmless, although they can swarm you and they roam around. I know I'm leaving a lot of threads left. That's what I've always been like. This podcast has really just been autistic info dumping, and the stops and starts, as you've seen, has been a guy suffering without knowing, really not understanding that there was an entire framework of knowledge and people and support and research that directly connects to the way his brain works. So think about what it's like to have that all around you, but you have no idea. And I used to relate to the HSPs. I still see them on Instagram sometimes, and I just want to go on there and be like, "You're all autistic. What the fuck?" I mean, I'm not trying to decide. It's not. I shouldn't be running around telling other people they're autistic. But I never saw anybody use that word. No one ever told me. If someone even had said once in my life, "Have you ever looked into autism?" I would have been like, "Oh my God, I'm autistic." It would have been. It feels like it was so obvious to me, but it's not that easy for people to understand. And there's so many different interesting kind of angles to it because it's a neurological disorder that affects the way you process sensory and social information. That's sort of the summary sentence I've been able to come up with. And that manifests very differently in different people, which is why you see a wide range of different behaviors and a different range of people who support needs. Some people do need constant care, and that's I would have been considered an Asperger's, a term I'm sure you've heard. That is no longer part of the DSM-5, or removed from the DSM-4 or something. Okay, one more stop off at the meat container, and that is there was a doctor in the 30s named Hans Asperger of the Nazi persuasion, and apparently there was some sort of, he identified that there was a sort of class, I don't know what the right phrasing is, but a type of autistic person who could still be useful. The ones that are harder that don't get diagnosed when they're kids is readily, because they're not looking for that. I showed symptoms as a kid but you wouldn't rush to the doctor and be like, "Well, kid's autistic because he's using full sentences." That's what I had. It's called hyperlexia. I was speaking very well early, before all the other children, full sentences, and my mom always talked about that, and she told me I was actually in the gifted school. So autistic people often show skills that are above average. Clearly, there's things that are below average quite a lot too, which I, for God's sakes, have. I don't consider myself smart, but I do think it'd be bullshitting if I didn't say I present as intelligent. People usually think I'm pretty smart. And I'm always just like, no, I just can't turn off my brain. I just can't fucking my brain is just this. And some autistic people don't have visual imagination. Like they don't report, they think in numbers, or they have other ways of connecting smells to colors and stuff like that. Strange connections within the brain. Mine is very visual and also very empathic. That's also like part of and if you've been a watcher, or if you've the one or two people who might have seen this channel, where is my cooked deer meat? My God. I must have placed it somewhere. I'm getting ready for some big upgrades around this little base. So like this is all kind of ad hoc. Although I do love that you can place down things. That's a jug of. Let's drink it. Um, I had a whole bunch of meat. We got a farm. We got a. I'm trying to do kind of a capitalism commentary here by I'm clearing all the trees without replanting them. So I wanted it to look like this like devastating wasteland. It was a bad spot. Oh look, there's a deer. Let's shoot it. Nope, I don't have any arrows. Uh, okay, let me get some arrows. So we're gonna build a boat, but and take a long ride. What was I saying? Um, that's not the right button. Yeah, I'm losing track of my thoughts. I think I also have ADHD. That's comorbid with autism at 50 to 70%, based on how I am and think and seem and feel, and I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. I would prefer to get diagnosed for that before autism because the medication seems like it can be pretty effective. There's this one young lady on TikTok who was autistic and ADHD, and she finally got her medication, and she like did a thing about taking it, and she was like, oh my god, I can. Is this what you guys do with your head? Like you could tell, you could feel it in her. So, um, yeah. Am I 100%? I guess I can't say no. I guess I can't say that, but it tracks every single bit of my life. I was the gifted thing. I guess I was in a gifted early like second grade for like language. Like I do remember being really good at spelling, but I didn't know that I was in gifted. My mom told me that. My brother, I don't know if he's autistic. I don't suspect that he is, but he was a math genius. He was like doing like college level math his like freshman year of high school, and really he's a neuroscience professor. And he's been on this channel actually. He's a really good guy. He debates Christians on evolution on speaking of Bill Maher. Yeah, like he not that that's about Bill Maher, but my brother does these little debates with these like evolution Christian people, but they're surprisingly like at least the one I watched, they're really with this other well-known atheist guy like Aaron or something, this sort of guy that with like dark hair, he looks like he'd be Sven Guli's brother or something. And the debate, it wasn't like our debate bro culture that you might be thinking of in like the political kind of annoying world where dudes are just trying to say the most obnoxious things about and to each other. It's sort of, I mean, they weren't agreeing, but they would have laughing moments. Like there was one where some person asked a question, but the person had a funny name, and they all just like kind of it felt so wholesome. It was so old school, like those debates about evolution, like Bill Nye versus that one dude. I think there's some serious issues at stake in terms of how science is treated in this country, but yeah, my brother does some of that stuff. Oh yeah, I need resin, and we are going. I'm starting to and bronze snails 80. So there it goes. Thoughts are just rolling real fast, just flying by. I'm excited. It's nice to actually be doing something like this again. Wow, look at that shot. It's really yellow. I got a cat. Has she moved yet? Look in the back. Look behind my head. Kitty cat. A little stray. Little darling girl. Was this little ghost was running around outside, skinny and sad looking and scared, and I took a liking, and I went and I fed her, and then I fell in love, and I went, oh fuck, and now she lives with me. Eventually, I plotted to kidnap her and bring her inside, and she was hesitant to eat first, and I had to go get the right. It's been a whole journey. I would have been talking about it a lot if I was doing this podcast. She's a darling. I honestly think she deserves a better place. This is not. It's just not a good time in my life to have her. I stress about the money because I've had a hard time with money, and I don't have money. I have people I could borrow money from, but if you have to borrow money to take care of a cat, that's not. I don't think that's responsible. But my roommate also loves her, and like we both agreed that since it was getting colder, this was like in the fall, that we should bring her inside, and maybe we get rid of her as a foster someday. She's very safe and happy here, although I do often find myself wishing I was able to give her what she wants. I wish she spoke English. That's honestly it's bullshit that they don't speak English. She only has one word. And that doesn't do much. And the tone is often hard to discern. And if not English, how about some frickin' eyebrows? Just two eyebrows. Angry? surprised, or determined, worried. See, that's all that would take to bridge the gap, to produce the solidarity necessary for her and I to do whatever that means. So I find myself frustrated by I don't know what she's asking for a lot of times. So the default is usually like food, sure, but attention. I don't think it's that complicated. She just is like, pay attention to me, meow. And I'm like, I know, but it's you. What do you want? Um, okay, so why did I bring the thing? Because I actually have that. I don't need that thing there. All right, we got to make some bronze nails. Um, so yeah, lots been happening. A lot of stuff has gone down. I wish I had better news about like life stuff. You know, someday I'm gonna meet the woman of my dreams and go off on a great adventure and that where I'll finally land that career job that I've been so eagerly pining for. Or you know, there's a world of videos that could also be made at some point. So I've been busy. I've been keeping myself busy working on some projects and stuff that I think are pretty interesting that I hope that someday will come out. But uh, meanwhile, I'm always craving doing this kind of thing, playing a game, or I might do Rocket League, or doing more content and doing stuff like this on Winners and Losers. It's a strange thing to have done this career, and looking at it all through an autistic lens, it's so much simpler and easier for me to wrap my head. Not, I shouldn't say simple, but yeah, I've been going through life with the wrong tools. I didn't know. A metaphor I have for it is like, um, it's like I've been kayaking in whitewater rapids. Like we're all in whitewater rapids. Like sometimes it's, oh my god, this is a lot of white water, and then sometimes it's like, wow, this is very smooth water, right? Life is ups and downs, and you have to kind of gets a little intense when you're in the ups. Hold on, let me open up one of these cans of drugs, and but then you hit those smooth patches too, you know. And the rough, the people go whitewater rafting because it's fun, but it can also cause funerals, just like life. Sorry, I need some dang nails. There. Um, and I've always been struggling with my goddamn depression and this sort of nebulous disarray of my thoughts that has always dominated me. And uh, oh, can we shoot the deer? Here we go. Ready for this? See, look at that. Um, so it's kind of like I've been whitewater rafting with a broom, like with instead of a paddle, I had a broom. That's not nothing, but it sucks. You can kind of get the plastic part of the broom in there and fight it, but it's hard. And so I've had the wrong tools, and now that I know I'm autistic, I feel like I have found a paddle. You know, I'm not out of the rapids. I'm still in a pretty scary position in life. Life is pretty precarious right now. Um, I'm working towards. I need to start really aggressively finding work and stuff. But it's liberating. You know, I was this. It's like being the only Mickey Mouse in the entire world, just the one in your mask. You're in this thing, and you're looking around at a world filled with regular ass people. I've always joked that I'm waiting for the mothership to come back and get me. Those kinds of things. Just a perpetual outsider, friction. But I can also be very charming and I can pretend very well. I've always been a kind of. They used to call autistic people changelings. I've described myself as a chameleon. So, in the same way that this map here, let me go back. This map here clears in Premiere Pro. See, I usually thread all that back together, like as if I were your Premiere Pro teacher. I know the map and you don't, and then we're going to go into the haunted forest with a guy who's a guide, who's a confident guide, and I'll get you to where I was. It'll take me what took me 8 years. I can probably get you there in 4 or 5 hours, or ongoing support, ongoing help on a project or something. I think it's a good idea because I hate doing goddamn video editing for people. Unless it's an ongoing thing, or they know how to communicate, but it's just so frustrating spending time typing up emails, trying to explain video editing things, asking for details, asking for clarity, and I need to be on the phone. That's actually part of my autistic accommodations I'm looking at. Like, it really helps me to hear your voice because it's hard for me in person to read your signals. It's so much harder in email or text, but phone I can do, or even on a Zoom, we can get on Zoom. I mean, as far as like that goes, but yeah. So I've been clearing. I have Premiere Pro well enough mapped that I do feel very confident that charging good money for an hour of time would be a big payoff. My buddy spent $1,200 on a lesson, and he's like bugging me to get back on more. And I've told him like this is helpful to me because I have to also learn, you know, to communicate more accurately, more clearly. And you know, there's tools in Premiere I don't even know what they're called because I just have been using them for 12 years. You know, yeah, this little line tool here. That's not what it's called. Um, so in the same way though, in my life, I've kind of been mapping autism around just the way I am and all the different ways. And, you know, I started in a stand-up career, which, the only path back to stand-up is if I like get notoriety through other stuff. Like if I have a podcast or go on podcast shows or something, and then maybe, but I'm not like going to go back and do grinding out sets. That's just, there's no way I could, honestly, I don't think I could stand on stage with my sensitivities. The light is so much more sensitive to me now. So we're never gonna get this goddamn mission underway if I just. I know you didn't come here for the Valheim, so. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, these guys. This is like This is like one of the first bosses, and they like to talk to you. Odin is the god that like set up this whole tree heaven or something, and like I'm on the story is that I'm like he has his enemies imprisoned, but they're threatening to get back out, and so I'm the warrior who has been called to this land of trials. But I just want to build a basement and breed pigs and gather up and catch all the fish. I want to catch the different size fish. They're so cool. Look at them. Look at them. I love it. I love it. You can build drinks. There's a whole lot more. They've really been developing this game a lot. So I'm not even seeing a whole ton of stuff. So if I keep playing, you might get to see it too. Just a complete stunning turn of events, though, the autism thing. And yeah, so the book would, if I were to do a book, it would be kind of about that life story, that sort of stuff, and then this event of learning it. I might cry. I find that my tears are a lot closer to the surface than they used to be, and they used to be pretty close. I would tell a story about a nice day I had. I remember telling somebody when I worked at the Young Turks about that, and I started tearing up telling her about it. I was like, I'm getting teary up thinking about this story. That might not be the case for all autistic people, so please don't make that assumption. Not that you are, but all right. I gotta find cooked deer meat, and I don't know what the hell I did. I think maybe I'm just gonna try to go quick here. Raspberries. You know what? These have. No, I want the deer meat. I'm just worried. Yeah, just at every stage of life. And oh, my mom told me a story about when I was 2, so I would have been 2.5. She took me to 4th of July fireworks, which I don't think that's too young. I mean, I know people take their babies and stuff, and I think 2.5 is fairly. And I guess I had such a reaction that I started screaming and crying, and like she had to flee. Like I was having such a meltdown that she had to run away from the fireworks because her baby was having some kind of crazy freak out. Which, as soon as the sound started, it wasn't like I saw that a new Sonic was opening up or something like that. All right, I got enough for a ship. See, look at what we're gonna build. Oh, why is it? Oh, I gotta back up. Look at that. So we're gonna have 2 of those when I get back to where my dead body is. And that would be an early sign of autism. But you're not going to necessarily think, "Oh my God, my kid, we got to go." But these days, I imagine parents might be looking more. You know, this was the early '80s, so part part of it too is like talking to my parents, and I wish, I've been very lucky. Some people, there's my farm. Those are turnips. Actually, that's what I'll get. I'll just get the turnip stew. Some people come out autistic, they learn and they tell their family, and then their family just starts treating them like shit, or like their parents deny it because they feel like it's their fault, and or some weird dynamics there. So, it can be tough on people. I'm really been. I don't communicate with a lot of people. That's one reason I think nobody ever told me I was autistic is because I'm autistic. I avoid people. Catch 22, sort of. Despite the fact that I feel very drawn to, I want to be connected, and I don't like being a loner. I've been kind of this sort of loner guy his whole life, keeping to himself, doing a lot of computer stuff. I did have some periods where I dated. I want to get back to doing that. Um, Video games aren't the only carnal ambition. Frankly, I could do with less horniness. I find it to be rather uh, unfair. I wish there was a switch we could flip and be like, all right, no horny for 4 months. I got to do some stuff. Um, so, yep, there goes the thought. Get used to that. That's going to happen until I get the ADHD medication. Being a kid, yeah, that's an abrupt end to a thought. All right, we're making turnip stew, so we need boar meat. A little bit tedious. Not that it's even a complaint about the game. It's just sort of the nature of this kind of game where all these chests, you're always going, you're always kind of in these menus. They're fine. I don't know how they would do it like a lot better. I played a little Minecraft back in the day, and the Minecraft menu was probably a little bit better because you could like automatically assign, or you could just press numbers, whatever. It was close. But this game runs really solid, looks great, doesn't overtax my computer, so it's a good game for what I'm trying to do. Yeah, damn it. Sorry. I'm kind of unemployable. Some of the stuff I've come out with about the Young Turks probably doesn't make me seem very employable because I have some podcasts about the union busting and stuff, which is probably a flag to a HR department. There's not that would be necessarily true everywhere. I would love to work for some kind of lefty outlet or show or somebody, some anti-capitalist sort of outfit. That would be good. My wrists make me I'm really worried about getting a full-time video editing job because even though I certainly can't do any kind of physical work, that automatically there rules out a lot of work. My woodworking job was a really important experience, but it was pretty rough on the body, as you can tell. So I have limitations. I have an intellectual disability that makes it hard for me to navigate the world and means that I need to learn how to ask for accommodations to that. And I'm starting to do that. Trying to crawl out of my shell. It's been a really tough time. My beard's falling out. I need to see a doctor. But it also is a time of change for me. It's a big time of optimism. I feel so much more optimistic than I did in the past, because I feel like I have that paddle now. I can finally fucking maybe battle these whitewater rapids with a little bit more power, and just being able to it's like I was the only Mickey Mouse at the park, and I read that article, and you can picture what's that movie where Johnny Depp transcendent. Johnny Depp becomes like God because he can imagine blue electricity or some shit. And the veil just evaporated and fell. And there's millions of Mickey Mouses running around. And some of them know about the other Mickey Mouses. And some of them have no idea. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like that Blind Lemon video where the little girl finds the bees because she's a bee. It's like that. It's like, but without any at all notion that this was something adults, and not that I thought it ended with childhood, but like, I didn't know what Asperger's was. I didn't know what any of it was. Nothing other than those wrong assumptions I had. fucking glad I'm not autistic. Let me read this article. But what? That's what it was. But I was like, but I know I never actually really looked into it. Like, I'm not like, I know autism because of my stupid assumptions. People should stop being confident with their goddamn assumptions. Another thing that you've seen me do on this channel or in my content, in my podcast, in my bullshit, is what they call systemizing. I'm always, and I can't not do it. I don't look at people as individuals. I mean, not that I see a person, I don't see a person. Obviously, I do. But like everything is just a network of factors that are fluctuating back and forth in terms of probability. That's all everything is. And it's also been very clear to me for a long time that I confound people. So I've always the masking part of it is so fascinating too. But that's part of an autistic kind of mind too that can be like that. Not that that's primarily because a lot of people have traits that might be kind of part of the autism spectrum, the ASD, the sort of circular spectrum. But what lands you in the autism category, and again, this is not all very, like, I want to say not scientific, but we're not talking about math categories. We're talking about psychology categories. So it's a little bit, everything is kind of a little gray area, is that you have some of pretty much all of them or a whole bunch of it. And I do. I have the sensory issues. I have the overthinking stuff. I do stimming, which is a thing I didn't quite grasp. I often do all kinds of stuff in bed. I will move my feet, but some autistic folks have stim toys and do things that they do deliberately. So I could go on and on and on and on, man. It's also one of those things where I can tell people's eyes kind of glaze over. I've told a few friends, and they're receiving it well. I don't know what they're supposed to say though. I don't. What are you folks supposed to say when someone says, "Hey, I'm autistic"? Like my neighbor gave me a hug. She's like, "Oh my god, it's great." Like people are happy because I'm like, "Hey, I feel like I need to tell you this." That's very nice. And I was saying, some people's parents give them shit, turn into complete assholes, which sucks. Okay, so let's get to the closest. Yeah. All right. We're gonna go down to Giant Perch Narrows. That's where they have the tiny perch. And I've been very lucky that my parents have received it well. And I go out of my way too to tell my mom and my dad, but we have a different kind of relationship. Obviously. What am I doing? To like try not to make my mom feel like it's her fault that they didn't know. Like how could they have known? How could they have known? It's not like that's okay. It's society's not looking. In the early 80s, even like I don't know what I don't look into childhood autism very much. I know that's a major part. There's a whole lot of people like me, man, on TikTok talking about it, like people in their 40s and 50s who are like, yeah, I just learned I'm fucking autistic. My life is better now. So I'm actually still reeling from it, and I really want to meet other autistic people. I need to connect. I need to find those people because those are my people. Those are my people for sure. And the people in my life who I have like clicked with, the ones that I was buddies with, or even like a few girlfriends here and there. I haven't dated in years. We're quirky. We're goofballs. Probably a little bit somewhere in the spectrum. Not to say I know for sure, but it's the stress I've been in the last few years has definitely torn. Oh, this guy's really coming at me. Here, let's go beat him up. Hey, he walked right over. I gotta fix this whole fence thing. Uh-oh, poison. Oh shit, I have to eat before I fight him because that's where I get my health. Did I get? I think I dodged it. No, he's got me. If I die again, I'm gonna die. How did I let that happen? I hope my other body's still there. I think it is. I've never actually had this happen where I've had two deaths. So now we have a real, because I had like all my good gear. I just had built a new bow that cost me like 100 iron, which been a bitch. Oh, this guy's still hanging around, rubbing it in. You son of a bitch. Got all my stuff. Run away. He's coming after me. That was just me being extremely sloppy. If I weren't rambling at the camera, I definitely would have taken this fella down. Did it get me again? No. Let's put our clothes. Here. I mean, I could kill him with the axe. I was going to beat him up. Did he get me? Yeah, that's right. My health was very high, though. That was over 100. He just caught me before my health had charged up. All right, look, I'm going to kick him. Take that. Then they heal. Once they're wounded, I basically just pummel them. This is just building up my punching, my fists skill. There is an RPG element to this game. Yeah. I can show you that. That's up in here, I think. Yeah, so you get these different kind of things. Whatever you do the most of, obviously I've been doing a lot of wood cutting and running and axes. Very little, no pole arms, no knives, no spears, some swimming. But I've been fisting a lot. I've been doing a lot of fisting. Hacky joke. I've been putting my closed hand up their soul hole. Blocking. Yeah, blocking is pretty sweet. Yeah. So I've been very fortunate that my parents are receiving it well. I told my dad when we were driving, and I don't know how people are supposed to react. The one thing I have thought of though that like I would tell someone, I think, if because I'm always kind of imagining conversations in my mind and getting myself emotionally worked up based on those imagined conversations, which is one of the pretty autistic thing to do, is just offering the idea that like I don't know how you're supposed to respond. I'm just telling you I'm autistic, but the one thing I'd like, if you have this, no obligation, is please be curious. Please ask me. If you want to talk about it, I am here to talk about it, and you can ask me questions that you might not feel comfortable. Like you won't cross the line with me. We can talk about it, and you can tell me about your own. I've never met an autistic person. I remember my dad mentioned once that some kid of a friend maybe was autistic. But I didn't ask. I was like, oh, geez, it sucks to be that family. I don't know, but I didn't get any details. So be curious. That's my thing, though. I want to be like, yes, you can. I don't know how you're supposed to react. I know it's a weird thing to tell you, but if you aren't sure what it is, we can talk to me. I have a really good article picked out actually that I send to people that kind of lays it out really well. And I also want to learn from other people who have autistic people in their family, or who actually have interacted more deeply with autistic folks. So yeah, man, it just came out of nowhere. The bolt of lightning just smacked me right in the top of the head, and that's where lightning comes from autistic people's brains. It kind of is, man. It's basically the way I kind of think of it. It's just having more. It's like it's like two electricians wired the house instead of one, kind of. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like the whole fucking nervous system is just ready to kind of send off in ways. But because the brain is the most complicated thing in the universe, the human brain, I believe that's true. There's probably reasons it's not true. You get a lot of variety when you reorient someone's kind of default operation. That's one of the ways. Okay, so yeah, all right. Let's focus on getting going here. This is Perch Point, where I've been doing some fishing. I've been kind of at first I was doing these kind of traps where you yank the fish into the thing. My fishing pole is over by my corpse. But that's a fish I've been trying to catch. So they have different types of fish, and they eat different bait. Oh, this guy's coming. This guy's bad news. Okay, I don't want to get near. Oh, there's two of them. That's not good. Those are level ones, and that means they're way stronger. And I don't have. Let's hide. Hide. Cops coming. Hide. We got to build the boat. I caught a huge perch here. That's why I call it Perch Point. They do weird things like sit on top of the water a little like that sometimes, but it's fun how these little fishies swim around. And you can try to catch them and stuff, but you got to get the right bait. Some of them are really strong. It's kind of entertaining. This little spot, though, see those gnarly trees? Though there, and there. That means there's swamp, and it's just a weird spawn that I've got a little swamp spawner over here, which creates these leeches that come at me. And what's nice about this little corner, besides the nice fishing, is it's a launching point for further exploration. Just like when we go to Mars, because humans must be a multi-planet species. We must give that man money, and his weird, dorky, right-wing friends. Give them the money, so that we can be multi-planet. Hey, don't destroy my thing there, you jerk. But fix up my deck here. Got to repair. There's a lot of tedious just home do like there's some tedium to this game. What the fuck was I saying about multi-planet species? All right, let's get going here. Humans must be see. Fuck, god damn it. He's gonna start attacking. Get going. Look at the guy running along the bottom. Swing at me, bitch. Yeah, come on, let's have a race. He's gonna start attacking all my stuff on the... Let's hope they attack the workbenches. Those are like the things they don't like. So... yeah. Parents liking it, it'll come back. It'll come back. Now we're in for kind of a long journey. See where I'm at? We gotta go here. And we gotta get real quick and hope that the mosquito that murdered me is getting drunk at the bar with its friends. Oh, see, so here's these redfish. I don't have the right bait for them. They look like snappers. I'm going to guess that's what they're called. I like not knowing a lot about this game. It's fun to discover the different things. You'll see these puffers out here flying around. Very much not how they, in their normal state. I used to do aquariums, and I have actually seen puffers in their full puff. It's very amazing. You can actually, I've had them ingest a little air, and I've had to like hold them under with their mouth up and like get the air out so that they can, because they're bubbling, they're floating around on the top. Ooh, that's a shallow little spot right here. Hold on. I keep note of like little shallow bits because I'm always thinking about like, why did I turn? Now I'm screwing up my boat. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I'm always looking for like stuff that might be worth returning to someday, or looking for like maybe there'll be a way to build a cool fishing platform, but I don't know how I'd be able to even start it since there's nothing to... You have to start with a workbench for everything. So pufferfish don't always have... They don't fly around like beach balls. They are perfectly... Well, perfectly, but they're spherical, and it's really, really amazing to see that. Little pufferfish, but yeah. I wish... Oh, there's a... Is that a rock? Holy crap. Because what this... Oh, this is not even ocean. I'm looking... The reason this... First of all, I want to mark it so that I don't run into it. But... I'll just... But I could build there, and then build a platform, and then maybe be able to fish the ocean fish, because one of my little projects here, besides building up the house, is gathering up cool fish. I love the fishing. I catch way more fish in this than I do in real life. Terrible fisherman. My parents are even worse at fishing than they are at identifying autism in 2-year-olds, okay? They, I'm sure they had some interesting thoughts, not that they didn't share them all with me or whatever. So my mom went to the library, and the lady was also... knew somebody with autism, so they had a little bonding session. And then they got all excited, and the lady gave her 9 books about autism. A lot of books are about child rearing and children's, for young people and parents. There's plenty of stuff to be learned from that, but I'm of the late diagnosed adult variety. Not that I don't care about those people, my young brothers and sisters with autism, but there's a whole thing in this world, man, of people that slipped under. Asperger's is not diagnosed anymore, but it still is worthy of respecting it, because many people call themselves Asperger's who were just diagnosed during a time when that's what they were calling it. It's sort of the group of autistics that this Nazi doctor realized they don't need to murder until they melt down and become a problem. It's So this guy's Hans Asperger. I've heard that it refuted a little, but also like I've heard the reference to his Nazi and stuff. So I don't have the full story there, but that's not precisely the reason why they don't use that. Why they're not calling it Asperger's anymore. But people, it's just not a term that's being used much. But I still think it's important to like respect those who are, you know, fall into that as I would have. I mean, you should. I was born in late '70s, so like I definitely would have been an Aspie kid or whatever if somehow it got figured out. Yeah, definitely talking a lot more about it than I intended, but that's exactly how I do my show. Um, I have a lot more to say about all kinds of other stuff. If you're new, if maybe you're just like, what the fuck is this guy doing on this weird thing? You know, a lot of old videos on other channels and stuff, and I just want to get back to doing the podcast. I have to navigate my limitations better though. That's now that I am still going to be having autistic meltdowns and dealing, and I cry. I have issues where things get really stressful. I get overwhelmed, and tears come out. Um, to be clear though, it's not. Don't make the mistake of thinking autism means negative emotions. It's not it at all. It really kind of just means extra wiring. So like things that are intense, it's often overwhelming, and the social friction of having difficulty identifying boundaries causes pain and causes trauma, especially at early ages, which is sort of the origin of one's masking, which is basically a PTSD response to early developmental stages where your mind just isn't able to pick up on social cues and stuff, and so you end up in those critical years encountering issues, friction with others. Yeah, it's the boundary detection. The one of the things I used to say about like why I like why stand up seemed like so good for me, why I was decent at it, and like why I kind of seemed like a person tailor made to be a stand up. Is like even I need to get new fucking sliders for these. It's those regular ass IKEA ones. Oh shit. Is it in? Yeah. God damn it. You know what? That would be a good project. I don't know if I have the money for new sliders, but maybe I can find some on some furniture on the street. Yeah, these are just low quality sliders. I know they make really cool ones, but I do like. I actually put my legs under it because my gigantic thighs need to breathe. But I've always had bad boundary detection. I've always kind of been very comfortable just telling strangers about my wiener. I've always had. It's just always been like one major thing, and of course this is not unique to autistic people, but is small talk is like, oh god, there's a thing here. Hold on, this is cool. Let me back it up. We're gonna avoid that, but I am gonna mark it on the map. It's small talk. Is this the banal chatter that happens every day, all day, everywhere, allwhere? It is like nails. I'm trying to think of something other than oh, there's two of them around here. They're these guys. I'm not gonna tell you. We'll save that for later. Here's these cool islands, though. Yeah, I do small talk. I'm very good at small talk. I understand what people are doing when they do small talk. My personal theory, though, is that like the small talk is actually sort of safety testing. People are just basically saying, "You crazy? You gonna hurt me? You dangerous?" And I go, "Well, no, the weather's just been great. Look at my car. Oh my God, LeBron James. Do you see that dunk?" Or I don't know if that's even small talk, but like that agonizing feeling of look at these fish on there. I can't wait till I catch one of those mofos. They're so cool. They're those big, weird, bright colored, ugly faces. Small talk just has always just driven me mad. Not to the point where I go, fuck you, I'm not doing small talk. It's more just like God, everywhere you go, you just gotta act like you're interested in this stupid bullshit. Like, I'd so much rather. I don't want a cashier to ask me, how are you? I want a cashier. Oh, okay, we gotta roll. We got. Hang on, let me see if I can fend him off. I want a cashier to ask me. This is actually not a smart idea. How I'm going to die. No, how do I want to die? That's a much weirder question. How are you going to die? Or plastic. Actually, what if paper or plastic was that question? Whoa. So, and I'm not faulting cashiers as if they're the problem or something, but boy, when I drove here before, it was nighttime and I didn't get to see all these beautiful sights. Great water effects. Amazing, amazing water effects. Look at this game, man. It just looks so neat. I'll sit here and just like, I like this. This is neat. I want to be out there. Except not in real life. You ever sit in a fucking boat in real life? Sitting in a boat. Give me a break. My dad's disappointed that I'm not a boat guy. He loves his boat. He's a big boat guy. He was telling me about woodwork. Like, he had actually built himself a canoe off. Oh, there I am. Okay, that's actually that. I thought for some reason I was sort of planning on. Thought I was going to be traveling away further. All right, so. Okay, there's the other boat. And we go fishing. Love to fish with my dad. Okay, hang on. So now you get to the. See how in the upper right corner, there's the boat with the little like windy sign. So. That's the wind. And yeah, so if you're in the dark bit about in front of it like it is, now I can use the. Oh shit, there's something alive over there. Shit, there's a mosquito. Okay, we're gonna. I think I see my corpse. Fuck, but I can't go near. And there's no running away from them. It just killed something on the island there, so no shit. You know what? You can let go of it while it's steering, so hang on. Alright. I mean, I guess I just have to make a run for it at a certain point. But what I need is to put down the portal. So that's actually what will make this a more manageable problem we're trying to solve. The further you go away from the center of the map, the less. The meadows is like the gentle tutorial area. That's where I built the house. And there's different biomes. And the further away you go, the more dangerous the biomes become, and the less frequent the safer ones are. So we're out here in kind of the hinterlands, but very much not near the edge. So stick with me, and maybe we'll explore the whole edge. I haven't seen it. I don't even know. So let's go carefully here in case I see a mosquito. The mosquitoes come from the plains. If you look up forward, like there, those are plains. If you look in the upper right corner, there's the map that'll also tell you what biome you're currently in. So they transition over, and then, but the animals will interact from one to the next. So they'll be killing each other and stuff, which is sort of fun. So I'm just hoping that no mosquitoes are spawned close enough to this little point, and I can get out. Getting off the boat is really important right now. Let me turn that. Okay, now we got the thing going. Just gotta be careful. Okay, I think we're good. Think we're good. Okay. We'll slaughter these locals. Hello, I'm from Europe. Hello there. Good evening. Do you have gold? I am Christian. Do you have gold? We are the good ones. Oh, look at this. A border. I'm from Europe. We invented borders. Oh, you mean like property rights belong to the people that live there? But no, we invented the borders after we killed you. That's why. That's how it works. Colonialism is the starting process of developing capitalism, and it turns out it takes about 600 or 700 years to kill a planet. That's another one of the great filters, and I think that we're living through it right now. Find wood. Oh, you mother fucking idiot! I actually did not bring this. Remember, I put it down thinking I didn't need it because it's on the body. Well, the body's over there being guarded by a demonic mosquito. Motherfucker! Look at the perch jumping around. Is that a what is that? Is that a oh, that's a pig swimming. What am I? What am I? A model on a photo shoot? Okay. You can see the grave. That's a that like house there is filled with guys that will just completely destroy me. I can't believe I didn't bring that thing, man. I was totally boneheaded. I didn't. I almost have to go back. Shit. All right. I'm just waiting long enough to see if it moves. The reason I'm just sort of staring is the mosquitoes hold still for a stretch. They kind of hover in one spot and then they move around. So this mission is I don't see it though. I should be able to see. I don't think that's like leaves falling and stuff. Maybe we'll inch over a little bit while we have calm water. Why did I not bring the thing, man? Foolish. So, yeah, my mom brought home the 9 books. And then she's like, I got 9 books. I better read. I'm like, Mom, you're not going to read 9 books. I mean, you can if you try really hard. It takes me 2 years to read one, you know. And then she's like, I'm partway through one of the books, you know. And that's fine. Take your time reading it, you know. I'm just really grateful that she wants to learn and wants to understand. I was behaving all really crazy and weird in the last couple of years, where I would be like, I had a big freak out. I had a big meltdown around my roommate. And I couldn't breathe. Everything was just going south. I was just, okay, hang on, let's stop. No, don't. You're going forward. Stop. Am I stopping? Am I going backwards? I don't know, but I'm just looking for that fucking mosquito. And the fish can jump into your boat, by the way. It is. Now that it's dark, I can't see anything. God. If I could build a portal, well, even then I wouldn't. I think we should just kind of turn around and then maybe line it up and just make a go for it and hope that I can get back on the boat quickly. But if the mosquito comes at me, I have one chance to like kill it. I can kill it, but you best come correct. You know what I mean? If you miss, it's heaven time. But yeah, so when someone learns they're autistic in a family, it's a very, I think the healthy thing is to invite people to be curious and to want to talk about it. I wish my family honestly would ask me more questions. Not that I want them obsessing about me all the time. I just like, that's just it's one of the things that's so liberating about it is like, wait a minute, you mean there's like books written about my brain? When I've just been this kind of like lonely dude trapped in this fucking head that's just overactive all the goddamn time. And now I learned that there are scientists and researchers and writers and brilliant people and disability advocacy. I'm starting to wrap my head around that a little bit more. Okay, I guess we're just gonna. Oh shit. Okay, hang on. I saw something explode over to the left, which means something got killed. When a body gets nailed, they blow up like that. All right, let's focus here. Okay. But pig is alive. Dump all this crap so that I can pick up the body. All right. My roommate would have already grabbed it, and he'd have been running. And to his credit, oh, I think I just lost all that leather. That's okay. Oh my God! Take all. I didn't get all of it. Okay. There's a brute. That's good. Actually, that means if a mosquito is about, that might kill the brute instead. All right. Let's just clear some space. Yeah. Why am I not eating my foods? Yeah. I guess I don't know. There's a lot to say. Obviously, I'll definitely be having thoughts. So I'm going to work on this channel, and I'm going to try to work on updating some graphics. It's going to be a slow process. I think I've always gotten in my own way and just been like, oh, you got to have an idea and all this stupid crap that has made it so that when I try to do something. Now, I actually think I'm okay. Maybe what I saw initially wasn't a mosquito, but this is a spot that I could build a portal. So let's build a workbench. And now it's nice of the game that you can explore with the ships all you want, but it is very long and slow. And then you can build these portals and go back. Need wood. I forgot what I was saying. I was saying something. I was talking about my mom or some shit. I actually saw an interview when Sam Cedar was at the Tort conference. Those are the most exciting episodes. I love that he does that. I think it's funny. And there was a lawyer who's working on a kind of a class action lawsuit, I think, against acetaminophen manufacturers for possibly being linked to autism. I don't know a ton about that. Oh, I don't have the rest of my shit. So I'm not saying I agree or disagree or something. The origins of it, though, are I'm not really sure. Honestly, there's a whole lot more reading to do. A lot more things to learn, and a lot more science to discover. And it's something that's also an active area of science, too. You know, in 50 years. Do I not have fine wood? Did I not bring enough fine wood for... Actually, I can destroy one of the ships. That'll be my fine wood. Let me just make sure it's closer up on water, up on the land, because that's pretty shallow, but it can be too deep for you to reach. I don't think this is necessarily... Here. Push. Okay. I can build a workbench. Oh, I have one. Come on. Why is it not destroying it? Crap. You suck, pig. So origins wise, I don't know. My mom took a lot of Tylenol when she had a kid, but like it's been around for... I think it's part of humanity. I don't know. Maybe the incidence has gone up, or maybe we're just detecting it more. It does occur to me that a lawyer doing a class action lawsuit is unlikely to identify a source that's not a multinational corporation. Yes, I'm doing a class action against a lawyer. Oh, well, what do you think caused it? The moon. I'm going to sue the moon. Oh, you're going to sue a corporation. I'm not saying that the lawyer was badly motivated, but it literally wouldn't really be... I mean, maybe some... Geez, I do sound like I was saying that. I'm just saying, like, in the notion of what how confident we should be that that's the actual source. It's nowhere near enough information because there's other ways. I don't know. I shouldn't even be speculating. I'm supposed to be able to tear this thing down. Why is it not? Do I need... I have... Is that not also one? Yeah, like just like that. What the hell? Maybe they're not. Maybe the boats don't break down like that. Maybe you got to beat them up. All right, boat. Had enough of you. So yeah, I will definitely be mentioning it again. It's impossible not to, and but I'm definitely not gonna. I don't want that. I'm not trying to focus on the channel or that topic, but it's the absolute core of my being and the most important thing that's ever happened to me, and the thing that dominates the way I understand myself and my role in the world in a way, and especially given that my entire life I've been accurately picking up on it. Walking around Mordor looking at shit, not realizing I was walking around a giant map of a thing called Lord of the Autism Rings. So I hope you learned something. I really want to meet others who are autistic, though. It's kind of tragic to have been so isolated for so long. So I already have. You just have to type in the name. You have to have two with the same name, and then that's how it connects everybody back up. So blowing up my ship. No, what did I? Oh, I think I turned off. No, it's auto pickup. Is it Y button? V button. Yeah, auto pickup. Oh, I know. Never mind. I had dumped it. Okay. Oh, jeez. I didn't even put on all my clothes. This is all troll gear, stuff that the big blue fellas wear. You'll see those eventually. No room. So here, I'll build a couple of things and we'll boogie on out back to the home base. I don't think we're going to do... Actually, we'll take the ship, even though we just stopped off here. But this is a place where we could launch other explorations, so we'll return to this. We'll do something reckless. We'll rename this thing, and then we'll leave. Okay, hang on. What am I doing? Why, what? Oh, chest. Just to store up some of these little items. I haven't been doing any of this, so I'm been playing this game without doing this, which means I've been I'm not used to talking, and I'm losing my concentration a bit. Here's a fishing pole. That's fun. We'll be using that later. Here's the new bow I had made, the huntsman bow. That's number 5. Nope, that goes there. That goes there. X. Yeah. Okay. We're getting there. So what happened is, I'm in this. I see you there, bird. This meadows and this little stretch right here, we're in black forest with these fir trees. But then instead of building the portal, I just ran over there and to that tall rock. On the other side there is the plains, and then the gigantic mosquito murdered me. So, lesson learned: build the portal first. A text was from that rock. I don't really give a shit what those rocks have to say. I do read them, but a lot of them say the same stuff. You see it over and over. So, inventory management is sort of the tedious bit, but I kind of like it. And a bunch of this crap I don't need. So... All right. Here, actually, let's do this. Let's go home. Oh, yeah. I was like, gee, I wish I'd brought that other stuff. If only there was a way to get back to the home. See? One thing I kind of been doing, I like to walk around in here just because it sort of feels a little more at ease than always full sprinting or regular running. So you can walk, and then but you gain skills for sneaking. It's up in this one of these sneak is in there. Sneak right there. I have a 15 bonus from the blue suit. And so instead of walking, I sneak around. So I tend to sneak around my base, but I enjoy seeing. I'm always thinking about design. I just started laying down wood when my roommate and I were playing this one day. And then we have matching apartments. This is his. It's shit right now because I've not given him permission to build it out because the house isn't done. See, I built his door too low. He can't get through, and he can't even crouch under it. That's kind of lame. Come on, come on. Wait, hold on. Can I roll? Oh, please. No, that's okay. You know, you gotta deal with it the way it is. Um. So yeah, pretty pretty intense, man. Uh, still follow politics somewhat closely. You know, I look at Twitter way too much. I find Twitter to be such a draw, but it's also such a freaking. Whenever I manage to stay away from it, I seem to do better. I reach for my phone and look at it, and God, it causes that is such an not just Twitter, but social media, all that stuff, man. We're just melting our heads. We're just like, okay, algorithm, blah. It's just having these for-profit algorithms just converting humans into some sort of very docile, very useful, or very maybe not. We're docile in the notion that it's obscuring the real power centers as usual. That's the whole trick of it all is that no one ever figures out that the real problem is overconsumption and the distribution of power and the vertical nature of it needs to be upended. Uh, you can actually mount trophies, as you've seen the fish and that blue head. Here's a pretty gnarly one. I'm gonna do a. I'm saving these for. Oh, hold on. We're getting a thing happening. I have one of those programs that does. It's not Flux. It's like it though, but it goes off at 7:30. Bah. Here's this. This one's gnarly. Oh nope, that's just a axe. Whoa, it's a leech. So you do get trophies for the different animals. It's pretty gross, but I'm gonna save that and put that up with at Perch Point where I get the leeches. I'm gonna do like a row of leech heads. You know, my mom was an interior decorator, so you know it's kind of in the bones. She specialized in doing leech heads. It was like a niche thing. She had one client, Svengoolie. Um, yeah. So politics is just so maddening and dismaying. I think it's interesting to talk about with other people. I don't think I'm going to be doing much channel. I'm definitely going to get caught up in it because I can just pick a topic and then just like roll down it like a skiing victim. But okay, so I got a lot of arrows. Let's dump off. Let's buy arrow supplies. Although I'm reorganizing all this stuff. Oh yeah, this one. So it's gonna. You can just store everything in chests, but it lets you build these little mounting things, and they go anywhere you want. And so I just like putting up decorations. My whole idea for the YouTube channel and the Patreon community I hoped to build was to sell or like offer decorations, woodworking. I have all these candles over there in the back there. I have a lot of cool stuff. I actually have some really amazing pieces that I don't even know how I'd like come up with a monetary number for things I built at the woodworking job that I can't ever build again. We were we did toxic ammonia gas in a chamber. So if you put tannins from white oak inside a chamber of ammonia gas, it reacts in a way that turns the tannins dark, rich brown. I don't have any that I can show right now. This is the thing I made, but it's not finished. It's just sort of a little shelf bowl thingy made from scraps. And so you get white oak, which is an underappreciated wood as far as I knew beforehand. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous wood. There's so much beautiful shapes and grain and things, but the beautiful parts are also the harder to work on parts because they're not just like regular straight grain. But it turns this beautiful, almost walnut colored brown, and then you can apply. We didn't apply a stain, but we did apply a oil based coating of some kind. It wasn't to stain it, but it did darken it a little bit. Yeah. So I know I've rambled about that in the past, but like I think it'd be really fun to be like the guy that makes his own merch. That's like, yeah, that guy sells T-shirts. That one sells mugs. That guy Hank, he builds things on his balcony, and his audience likes to buy the crap that he built. Or like, there's a Patreon level where I build you something, or maybe there's a here's something I made. This was a I'm calling this a cat toy box. Uh, it's really beautiful. This started out as trash. This was a drawer face of an old dresser that I grabbed. This was a drawer face. It was just a piece of wood that was all tarnished and looking like shit. The wood's only crappy on the outside. You can clean it up. You can sand it off. You can plane it off. And then flattened up all the boards. Built this little weird box. I wasn't even sure what I was making, but it's got kind of ventilation. I had a little bit of design changes. I would make the lid a little bit wider. That's pretty much the only one. But I really like it. I carved these things out of chisels to have what I'm calling diamond corners or something. It just has this kind of intentionally angular shape to it. It wasn't holding the lid was sliding, so I designed this. Designing. I feel like I'm such a douche saying it, but this is an oak dowel that I made. I make my own dowels. I know. I know. But it is this little peg that goes into this hole, just sort of a lineup thing. So I think what I could do with actually is recess this hole a little bit so that you can kind of feel it with the peg instead of having to look at it when you put the lid back on, or maybe even make it so that I can do rotations like this, where it's in there and it sort of opens like that. And for some reason, I decided to call it Cat Toy Box. I like the idea of selling a box that's like, this is for bricks. This is a tray that only holds a single brick because it's about like a good size for a tray. And it'd be like, you may not put coins in this tray, only bricks. Like have restrictions on what's. Um, it's beautiful and it's really nice. A couple little details that aren't super great, but I'm a disabled dude doing woodworking on a balcony with imperfect tools, and so they're okay. Um, I know how to flatten stuff and whatever. So like I would have this available for Patreon people. This took me many hours of labor, not just clicking order on a mug reseller, a mug drop shipper. Um, but the idea is that Cat Toy Box comes with cat toy parts. So Cat and I have become. I don't have them all laying around. I've been spending all my time fishing for cats for my cat, and she loves it, and she needs to have her murderous instincts satisfied at every minute of the day. No, not. Um, and so I have different strings. I have an elastic. Everything's kind of torn apart, but and then I'd sell you. I don't sell or whatever, but you get one of these, but it comes with a bunch of strings and some stuff, and then you tie it up and make a little cat toy. I have them all like kind of hanging around the place. You're sort of constantly trying to figure out what these freaking cats want. They don't make it obvious. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go do a little boat traveling and fishing, and then I think we're gonna call it a day for this one. I'm gonna watch this, decide if I think I should post this or not. I've gotten nothing but embarrassing videos on the internet, having been pursuing a career in comedy for 10 years or more. Lots of videos and stuff. So it's like, why stop now? I'm incapable of working a regular job. I do have communications abilities. I see people that do podcasting that are like complete simpletons that are doing great. Why the hell not? Go for it, man. The world is telling me. It's like God is like, why are you doing woodworking? I'm going to ruin your hands, so you just have to force to do podcast. If I can make a living talking, I won't be grinding away with the cartilage in my wrists. And I have major incentives to do all this because my future is pretty bleak. We are in the bleak planet, the bleak society, but I don't even have any. I have no savings. Life has to take a turn for me, and that means putting myself out there and betting on this amazing personality that you find so addicting. I kid. That is the bet that everybody who pursues a career in some kind of entertainment is making. But what the fuck is a comedian anymore anyway? I'm not taking away from stand-ups. I obviously have a ton of respect for my friends who are still out there doing stand-up. I miss all those goddamn people. I want to try to reconnect with people this year too. If you know the podcast Knowledge Fight, some of you might. That's like a big Alex Jones based podcast. That guy and I started doing stand-up. Well, he started in Columbia, I think, Missouri before, so he had come there. But he was a young stand-up in Chicago with me when we were pals, and I haven't talked to him in a while. Not that I'm bragging about that, but like, you drift away from people over the years. When I moved to LA, and I'm so thrilled that his podcast is doing amazing. Fucking guy starts a Alex Jones. He told me about it. We were hanging out. I was dropping him off at his house. Here I am already dropping names and celebrity stories about the Knowledge Fight guy. No, just like, I remember when he told me that he's thinking about doing this podcast about Alex Jones. I remember, that's the worst idea I've ever fucking heard, you goddamn moron. I didn't say that. But I was like, why would you want to live in that? And also, aren't you worried about like activating the hornets that someone might come after you for like sticking your nose into that world? He does a great job though. I love him and Jordan. They have a really fun podcast. They were on CNN. The lawyers who sued Alex Jones hired my buddy Dan because he's like an expert, to be like an expert witness in the trial, the Sandy Hook trial against Alex Jones. So he definitely was wise not to follow my. I mean, I didn't tell him I thought it was a dumb idea. I just remember thinking, Jesus, man, I hope it works out. That's fucking. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, some people I started with are doing really, really well, and everybody's getting old and gross. So, but that's true of everything. I'm looking for bait. That's not bait. That's. Oh, that's right. I had set all my meat over here. Where did I put the dang bait? I used to keep it in here, but I filled it up with fish. Oh, I think it's over. See, this is why I got to do a whole new like organizing structure. This is similar to video editing, actually, in the sense that there are smart ways to organize and there are dumb ways to organize. And boy, have I learned that with file names. I'm a lot better than I was, but I still struggle with it. Actually, that's something I could definitely give a newbie advice and things. But if someone in the video editing world, like the Premiere Pro gal, she's like a YouTuber that does Premiere stuff, and there's a lot of them. If someone ever cracks the code on really good file names, but I think it's like one of those personal things you kind of got to develop. Because if you're doing a complex edit, you need a file structure that is going to allow you to file structure within the Premiere Pro file itself, but also just all your storage and stuff. Because bad file names, bad file structure, you're just signing up for eons of frustration. The thing I've gotten to know is just slow down. Just don't rush past the file naming because you're thinking you're saving yourself time. You're in a hurry. All right, I finally found the perfect picture of Willy Wonka. Okay, here we go. I'm going to make this great video. And then, so I got to be really ass careful here. Okay, you see there's a mosquito hovering. It's pretty far away though, but I don't want to turn in it because they can actually, I mean, they're not trapped in there it is. See there above the rock? Little fluttery bit. You might not see it. Right above that kind of rock in the middle. So I'm just backing up. I'm just like, okay. All right. So yeah, the file names thing is critical, and that's like also partly why I think I might be a good coach for this sort of stuff. Coach, I don't know if that's the right word, but teacher, lesson giver. Is that all right? Let's fast go, and now we can roll out. These bluefish are called troll heads. Is that if you're a beginner or something, I can kind of give you a little, butt kicking lecture, mentor style about like file names. Like, you're new at this. Let me tell you something. make file naming, make your file structure a priority now while you're getting through this early phase of learning Premiere, because that will pay off in days and days and days of. So let's pick a. Let's just go south. Um, I'm basically just going to go till we hit ocean, or till hit. We're there till we hit land. You know, like I've been writing down a whole lesson thing so they can jump in the boat sometimes. I've never had one do it, but I'm still waiting, praying to that Jesus that Bill Maher believes in. I've got a whole bunch of notes written down, like lesson plan kind of ideas, and been a little bit distracted with some other things that are happening in Hank Land, that aren't ready for me to talk about. But I think teaching would be great. I really do. I've shown people stuff and they're like, man, this is, I've I can get a little too wordy, but I can also be very clear. And I know I'll. One thing that I would have loved if to do when I was 2 years in is if some dude with 15 years experience sat there and just watched me do. Not that my plan is just to watch someone work, but like if I know what you don't know, like no, I can see mistakes you're making that you don't know you're making, and I know how the program works, so I can push you in the right direction on that. And also, I know all the different. I shouldn't say all. Premiere is such a big program. There's so many. I'd be able to show you multiple ways of doing one thing or the other. This idea for this business basically came from my brother. I said he's been doing like debates against Christians. That's not like his whole thing, but he volunteers. He majored in evolution as part of his like undergrad degree before he went on to become a neuroscientist. And so he's very well informed and a respected doctor. Like he's a real ass fucking scientist. He's not just some dude with opinions, or a writer. Somebody has a profile. But he's been trying to learn Premiere, and he like got in touch with me one day, and he's like, "Hey, maybe do you think we could?" And I was like, "You've been learning Premiere, and you didn't tell me? You didn't fucking tell your Premiere brother about this dang what?" I was offended. No, I really wasn't. But we hop on. He'd hit a snag. He wasn't sure how to fix it. Immediately realized he had not sorted his hard drives out correctly, and then his RAM was getting bogged down because he had too much. One of the things with editing is you don't want all your everything running off the same hard drive. If you have to, it can work, but you're going to end up bottlenecking bad. So the best thing to do is to have your program, your storage, and your render all on separate drives. I have a incredibly fast hard drive, although it was incredibly fast like 5 years ago. But it was like one of the fastest in the world. It's a little NVMe one. I'm sure they're a lot faster these days, but that's my fastest drive. It's 500 gigabytes, and it's my render drive, dedicated to render, although I often find myself filling it up. But, we solved that problem right away. And then I was like, all right, let me just show you around here real quick. Let me just kind of like take you through this. I can see how you got that thing set up. Uh-oh, the moon is like a ping pong ball in this game, which is kind of goofy. And by the name, you can probably tell that this is an interesting. Look at this light, man. I'm telling you, dude, the water is just. You can even go sit in the front. Okay, so we're heading right for swamps. But let me get up. And I showed him a bunch of shit, I showed him how to, multiple ways of copying different effects, whatever. I'm just remembering it. But, like, I just could tell that there's just a bunch of stuff that he needed to know that he didn't know he needed to know. Or that he understood he didn't know, but also that like, it would have taken him 4 or 5 years of farting around to get. That's obviously giving myself a lot of credit. But after about a half hour, and he follows pretty quickly. He's a smart guy. He learns fast. He goes, man, I've learned more in a half hour than I have in 7 months of watching YouTube on like right now. I could tell he was like really surprised. I was like, I know, man. I know this thing so freaking well. You've been out living a real life. I've been editing stuff to try to get people to like and subscribe. So, and I've been paid professionally. I'm not been paid. That's been my primary source of income for the last 10 years, I'd say. Um, which is honestly pretty pathetic. I think I might have made $100,000 in the last 4 years. I don't mean per year. I mean like definitely not very much. Um, yeah. So yeah, let's see. I did see that swamp, right? Okay. So when I don't really reveal it, I like to just sort of tell myself what we saw. This might be the farthest I've ever traveled. Even in the earlier game, the one I played on Suck Professor, we never really went quite this far. Kind of see a mountain in the distance there. So that's what I'm looking for. And I might be able to find people through maybe this. It's not set up. I haven't really set up the infrastructure for like taking payments or whatever. I know that there's like these websites where you can do it. Um, I don't know. It's just an idea because I really like to explain. I really kind of like it because it's sort of satisfying to see someone doing something and know exactly what they don't that they need to know. Um, and everybody's different. Some people are visual learners. Some people understand metaphors in certain ways. Some people have different notions of whatever. So I'll be able to sort that out. Like the exact reason. Like it's kind of like the chameleon. Oh, there's a weird fish I just saw. I don't know. That might have been a red one though. Um, in this light, it'd look dark. I think I'll really be able to adapt to someone's perspective instead of just some like what my buddy described the $1,200 class he took. He's like, they just went straight down this list of stuff and they just explain like, I'm not going to charge you $90 to sit there and be like, all right, so click on the file. Now click on the file menu. Now, okay, now we're going to go down this. Save as means save me. Like, all right, now click on and maybe even Photoshop. There's a lot of parts of Photoshop I wouldn't at all say I'm an expert, like photo touching and some of that sort of thing, or maybe like print prep. Like it's a whole different. You use like 300 DPI and different color modes and all sorts of stuff for printing and leads. And there's a whole level of professional Photoshop that I'm nothing close to. But I've been doing animation for years. There's not a single JPEG or graphic or PNG or whatever. I was just making PDFs the other day. So someone who also needs training in Photoshop in an hour or two, I can get you really high up. So how's that for a sales? I don't know. I'm trying to like sell it. The tutorials I want to make, I have made a few, but my whole hook, the thing I'm going to try to do more than anything else, is give you the answer in the first 10 seconds, like right away. I'm not going to say, well, okay, in this video, I'm gonna. No, the first word you'll hear will be the first word of the answer, and then title it so that that's exactly how that logically flows. Because the way people ingest YouTube is they see the title and the thumbnail, and then they see the first second of the video. Oh, what's that? What the fuck? Oh, okay. Is that? Let's not crash into that. Wow, that would have been bad. Let's just land. Nothing weird about that though. That did seem strange to me. I'm not sure that I know. Oh, pufferfish. That's why it's so frustrating when you see like a video that says like how to clean a keyboard, and then in the video goes, "Welcome to the channel, guys. We're going to talk about how to clean a keyboard. So what I'm going to do, we're going to be getting to 3 minutes." And it's like, no, I'm going to give you the answer so that you can go away in the first 20 seconds. And the reason, okay, see, I lost my wind. The reason I want to do it like that is because I've seen comments. One of the few sources of actual humans on the internet is YouTube comments, believe it or not. Let me make my case. Of course, that's a nightmare of snakes. Let's just turn. catch the wind. You can. Why am I not going forward though? The YouTube comments can be obviously like a whole thing that's scary. But when you're looking at like woodworking or technical stuff or YouTube shit, you can actually find people um, giving each other lots of great advice. Oftentimes in, you know, those sorts of, see how big that thing is. In those communities, um, there's a lot of good information. There was a Reddit thread the other day about, or not a Reddit thread, a Twitter thread about Reddit or something, I think. Basically, the person was remarking that they search Reddit all the time because they've given up doing regular search. And I do that too. I almost exclusively, I use Google, but I type Reddit and then the search or something on Reddit. And everybody in the comments was like, yep, 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 yep. I wonder if this is some weird ass biome I've never seen. It's just hard to tell at night. Because that's really rocky. I don't know if I've seen rock structure like that. Let's stay the fuck away from this. If the other one sends out mosquito bogies to hunt you down, yeah, that is not something I have seen before. Woohoo! Cool. That is really neat. I am so out of my depth here. Do you have... Is this where the Sonic is? We're looking for Sonic. My wife grew up in Boston. I don't know if that's even anything. Wow. Okay. Whole new land, man. That's scary. Let me Whoa, rocks. Big mountain there. That's oh. Did someone just oh, that's one of those puffer fish. All right. So let's head back to Perch Point. Let's just sort of turn the boat that direction and hope that we wait, no, the wind will screw us that way. But I'm just you can kind of see how over time you sort of explore more and give yourself little clues. There's a swamp over there. Let me just do that. I think that first big mountain is way off, but this will still. Oh, 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 come on! Wow, big O. Okay, that was like the one that has consciousness. It's like this is my chance. Um, what was it talking about? The guy wanting to buy his wife Sonic. There was something I was getting at. Oh, the YouTube comments and stuff. This thread that people were agreeing about on Reddit regarding the uselessness. The whole point of it wasn't so much that Reddit is so great. Reddit's a huge site, all kinds of crazy stuff on there, but a lot of really good, helpful stuff. I find all sorts of product advice, etc. But oh, here, let's go faster. Put the sail up. And so I think it's a great resource. And the point was people are finding or using Reddit because there's humans on there, actual people sharing information that are much more helpful because the search engines have all gotten horrible. And so the consensus was basically that the search engines are just like rotten. The algorithms are so annoying. Cory Doctorow, author, writer, I think that's a really talented guy. Just seems like a really brilliant, smart dude. He writes like journalism, sort of kind of like Michael Pollan, like deep, thoughtful investigative reporting. Goddamn wind. And he writes novels. He writes kind of technology sort of based stuff. Anyway, he does these kind of long tweet threads, but he was going on about he got tricked. He got duped. One of the smartest dudes with this stuff. A search result. The first search result was a fake restaurant that was like linking to the restaurant he thought he wanted to buy from, but it still charged him more money for the price. Like this is like injecting itself into the middle of this this exchange without the consent of that restaurant, and he didn't know that he was ordering from a middle man. And it's the first search result on Google. That's really fucked up. That's really freaking weird and not cool, and they should tamp down on that kind of crap. But I was just saying though that Reddit is not the last place. There are actually a lot of helpful people on YouTube in the comments on technical stuff like tutorials and stuff. That's usually where people don't get into fights about who's a bigger cuck. So the tutorial. So when I've been teaching myself all this shit all over all the years, I've looked at a lot of YouTube comments, learned a lot from it. Off sometimes even solved the. It's so one of the greatest things in life is when you find the exact comment you're looking for that solves the exact problem you're having. That's always really good. And there's a swamp. Okay, so actually, have I gone in a circle? What the fuck? Um, one of the comments I see is people that go followed because you got right to the point. Followed because you got. I love that you just said exactly what to do. Right. That's not that common. There are some that are better, but mine is going to be. This is it. This is the. So I have this one trick I do with marquee tool. I love the marquee tool. I don't know. I know that's a bit of an odd thing to have an affinity for, um, but in Photoshop, it's really handy. There's so many ways. I use it to fence off things all the time. I use it for clipping. I use it to do. But one of my little tricks is that you can use it to locate missing layers. If you've got a really complex, multi-layered Photoshop file, and there's something, that there's like this yellow circle, for instance. I need to get this. Where the fuck is that yellow circle? I was drawing a clown with a yellow nose. There are ways to find that. You can click through every layer. Sometimes it gets confusing with the groups. It gets confusing with all that shit. But if you know the layer, you have to know which layer you're looking for. You see the little yellow circle. Just create a marquee. Literally doesn't matter what size it is, but just drag a marquee on the screen you're on if you're zoomed in all the way, and then use alignment tools, and it'll bring the yellow circle exactly in front of you. Boom, it's there. You don't have to go looking around for it. You don't have to zoom out. Brilliant. That could be a 20-second explainer, and then there's always a little bit of nuances and stuff. After that, the rest of the 3 or 4 minutes of my tutorial will be me like kind of showing more examples and maybe being a little bit more nuanced about it. That's it. I think that's a great freaking idea. And those are also the kind of videos I could produce fairly quickly. I tend to want to make things that'll take me years to make, or they'll take me all kinds of double toil and trouble. So check out this water, man. Isn't this game fucking rad? Maybe there's even a day where we play games or something. I don't know. I'm not rushing to do that. That I feel like I'd get overwhelmed right away. Oh my god, my steering is just fucking god awful. All right. So we have wind behind us. The boat actually takes damage in weather like this. It'll crunch against the beating waves. Honestly, it's some of the best water effects in any game. I like being up close on it like this, so this feels like you're right in the shit. Here, let's go sit up here. Not an advisable. My roommate bought himself a really nice new computer, and this game looks amazing on it. He hasn't bought one in a while. He was like, I don't know if I should. I was like, dude, fucking buy the good computer. What the hell's wrong with you? You've been busting your ass. Your job is tough. You love. How did I get turned around? Like, so he did. He bought it, and it's awesome. It's a big old. It's a 4090 for you video game nerds or for you computer dorks. That's like buying a race car. It's the fastest game. It's the fastest car on the market. It wasn't cheap, but it'll last him for 10 years. And yeah, so we've been having fun looking at stuff. Wow, look at that. Okay, we got some wind. I've just been doing circles out here. All right. I guess I was assuming that the game holds your course no matter what the waves are doing, but obviously that's not it at all. And it's kind of a dumb assumption because, like, look at it, it pushes you around. Because why wouldn't it? There's another one of those things. Run away! No. It's the kind of video card that you will be able to play everything maxed out for 10 years at least. I mean, I don't know who can predict 10 years in computing, but games, as far as games go, with the powerful processor like that, I'm still getting pushed around. Developers have to catch up to it. Like the technology takes a while to mature because the companies and developers that make the games need to kind of adopt that. Like Unreal 5 is a new engine that's come out, or that Unreal has released, major kind of central engine for making games. I can't speak intelligently about video game design or programming. Maybe about as a player in a way, but not like, I don't know much about those engines and stuff. Uh-oh, fuck. But there's a lag, you know, and that's true for everything, even consoles. You know, like the first year of an Xbox. Well, by 5 years in, the developers will have gotten better at using that hardware. So it's much deserved, much deserved. But it also has me jonesing for another computer. This thing's holding up. It was giving me blue screens the other day, though, and I had to vacuum out the dust off the heatsink and shit. But doing some editing projects that are pretty taxing on the machine has gotten me pining for a better computer. It would save so much time. I wouldn't even need anything close to what he's got either. Honestly, definitely not. That's not what I'm looking for. If I had all the money in the world, I might do it, but that's not where we're at. I want one of those crypto cards that's been baked in some weird Texas warehouse, some power plant that used to be shut down, but they fired it up so that they can transmogrify electricity into value, into currency somehow, and scam other people who are desperate for the sweet relief of having to not have to worry about stuff, because the only way to ever have any hope of not having to worry is if you have a lot of money, because the society we built is a sick fucking society based on worshiping the god of money. The final demon, the final boss to liberate humanity is money. We must slay it. It's the backbone of hierarchy. We need receipts. We don't need money. We need to write down transactions. I think that's important, but we don't need fucking money. Money is just a tool of, yeah. So I have my spiel about money. There's more to say. But that said, I am going to be looking for Patreon support. I'm not against having money. I'm against money. But that doesn't mean I can live in a world without it. I need money, and I want more money. And I hate that, but that is it. I have to get money. I don't have any income right now. So I shouldn't be embarrassed that I'm asking for money. I'm trying to get over that. I get really like, oh God, I just don't. It's just so gross. That's one of my blocks, I think. He does sit nice and still, though. He does sit nice and pretty. That's how captains sit in real life. It's very... Oh, jeez, I keep not looking. Look, we're getting all blown asunder. I'm trying to get over here. Honestly, I hope the boat holds up. It does have a lot. Oh God, can you fall out? Fuck, 10. That's not small. Actually, I think if I... Okay, so that's how much damage it has. See that yellow? That's enough. We're not... We have a ways to go, but we'll get there. Jeez, this is brutal. I've started working out again. I didn't do it for a while. Really just editing and not doing that. So I've been stretching a ton. Honestly, my hip mobility is pretty good. I do squats and shit. Not really pumping hard. I just started doing climbing some hill and doing some trying to get my cardio back. My breath was like I was like losing my cardio and just like what the hell, man? Come on, get it together. That's feeling better. That's helping the mental game too. Um, but I reoriented my room a little bit too. A bit. I have like a weight thing. I have power blocks for weights. I don't do that enough. I do kettlebell swings a little bit, but I put on some weight. I'm a little bit in that spot. That need to work on that. Do better there. Hang on. Turn around. Crap, now we're on the slow. So what's... Yeah, I didn't think we'd be open ocean all the way to here, so I was kind of expecting to run into some land. Plains. I'd rather go slow in the right direction than... But yeah, squatting down, doing cat litter shit. I thought I heard her moving. Scooping out that cat poop. You want to hear cat turd trick? Ready for this? This is gonna change your life. Cat turd trick number 1. Tongs. Tongs. Put them back in your parents' tong holder. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I really don't do that. But yeah, tongs. I use the pellets. Not really a big gravel guy, and so yeah, I got the pellets and like what the is that? Just one of them regular ass fish. Look how nice it gets all of a sudden. Just beautiful, somewhat choppy water. And I'm scooping in there with the scooper, the crappy one that came with the litter box. And I bought one that has like walls. It's so freaking annoying. It like doesn't quite work really great with the pellets. Maybe a different one would have. But I think I saw someone on I've been reading some cat articles and stuff. Someone said tongs. I was like, oh my god, that is so right. It's just like picking up little weird egg rolls, little weird little tubes, little weird sausages. Ooh, look at that, there's a big one in there. Someday, my friends, someday. Someday, my puffy friends. So, tongs, let me know. Leave me a message. Tell me how that worked for you. Tongs. And then fling it out the window. I built the cat, and I filmed a whole bunch of it just to make like a TikTok or some sort of short, or like a cat box. I was shaking out the dust with I didn't have the right tool for it, but I was using I had the crappy handle, but I also like all the pellets turned to like sawdust. The urine turns into sawdust, basically. Actually, not basically, literally. And I did have this container that had like slotted sides, so I was trying to use that. It was like a handle thing, and I was like shaking. And this is all this big pain in the ass, and I'd seen people do these sorts of things, so I just came up with an idea. I bought another plastic tub, the kind that they use in for carrying around dishes, like you'll see busboys carrying. pretty sturdy, solid little plastic tub. Fit my thing perfectly. And then I built up, I cut open some Tupperware containers because they register flat on the ground, so they cover a surface area. And then I cut out the holes of those to make room. I don't really like that whole scene because there's too much, there's a little bit of a lip that catches some of the sawdust. So they're a little annoying to clean. I think there's a better solution there. Um, and then I bought egg crate shit. This stuff. I don't know why they call it egg crate. Is this something you buy for aquariums often for filters? You can use these to create baffles or to place, different placements inside like more complex filters. Really sturdy plastic, kind of hard, kind of sharp. This stuff, and then so this sits on top of those things. I'm waiting for the wind to turn around here. Ooh, we can maybe catch it. And oh wait, no, we can't. And I drilled a bunch of holes. That took a while, and I did it in 2 rounds because the first time I use a step down drill bit, which is those like they're usually made of brass, I think, but they're like the ones that are sort of triangular shaped, and they punch in, and they're made for plastic and other things too. But they're really good for cutting holes in plastic without screwing up the plastic too bad, just because of how they're designed, and it worked great. The prototype took a lot, so I did another round of holes, even though it was pretty tedious to do all these freaking holes. That was definitely the worst part. Made a big mess, like bathroom floor, but big deal. And I just shake out the dust. It still takes work. It's still not. It's not like it's not a. It's just I just have to give it a shimmy, and then it all goes away. But really was a major upgrade for this gal who's down. It is so much darker. I'm looking at OBS. Here's the screen. Maybe let's see how that changes me. I can't see it because it turned off the monitor. Yeah. It is so much darker in this room than that shot reflects, which is good actually because all this bright lights fuck me up. This is bright for me. This one monitor over here. I was with here's another autism story. I know you're excited. It's not even an autism story. It's just a story about a guy who actually was able to deal with something nicer than he could before. And I knew I was autistic at this point. I went home, and my brother and I actually were home at the same time. We hung out with our mom. We went out for Chinese food, and they sat us at this table that had this light, and it wasn't particularly overwhelming by most standards. And when I'm traveling, I'm kind of already on the edge of, that rattles things up a little bit in terms of just like you're not near your home base. You're a little bit asunder. And I go home to see my family, and my life has actually been pretty unhappy lately and just kind of not feeling like I'm hitting the notes, and as we've been talking. And parents, of course I love them to death, and obviously, and they're both still alive, which just sucks because that means they're both gonna die. So I have that to look forward to. Hopefully hopefully they die before me. I hope they hang on for a while because give me a chance. Give me a chance to get settled, because if you don't, why am I saying this? Okay. Anyway, I sat down and I take my hat off in restaurant. I wear a hat almost all the time now, and man, we're gonna be climbing up, so I kind of want to head towards. Okay, see the wind is shifting around, so now we can crank up the motor. And the bigger boat, the next boat will be faster. I think I could probably build the next boat. We sit down and I feel it right away. This light is just like, I'm like, I can't. And it's not like it's in my eyes. It's just down onto the table. And it wasn't affecting my brother or my mom. It's not like all three of us were like, geez, because sometimes you go to a restaurant where they have like a big light and it just comes at you so hard. And I felt my anxiety just going, just like bubbling. Just feel like I've told this story on a podcast already. So if I said this in the last episode, give me a break. Sorry about that. But this is an early autism victory, right? So, um, after, I tried to just sort of deal with it because that's sort of the whole thing about it is this is not our world. We have to kind of get by in your world. And that's majorly a universal thing, I think, that unites autistic people. And it's not unique to autistics, but I knew something was going wrong with this and I had to do something. I understood the sensory issue better and I felt anxiety building and instead of like sitting there worrying or wondering, although I might have just put my hat on, it's obviously kind of the easy answer, but I decided I was just going to be rude. I didn't like be wearing a hat at a restaurant, but this was a kind of a casual place. It was fine. Nobody's going to come by. And so that's actually Black Forest. That's good. I put my hat on, and almost within minutes, I felt it go down. I felt my anxiety just dip, or not dip, but like lower and lower. And it was like this has been missing the whole time. Not that that's very simple. It's very obvious, but it was such a affirming thing to sort of not to have that feeling arise from this light, and instead of going like, God, why am I so weird? God, it's anxiety. And then you start maybe because that'll set off further autistic, like cascades of thought. You're still autistic if you don't know, So in the past, I just would have been like, fucking anxiety. I hate the way I am. Why am I like this? I was like, I'm a guy who has to wear a hat sometimes in a restaurant. And then I talked to my mom, and my anxiety went back up. So it was wonderful, honestly, man. Oh, look, a river. So yeah, man, we're almost there. I'm gonna write a little note here for river. Next kind of thing I want to explore is sort of I like to clear areas. That's a little tedious, but I do want to see sort of what's on this land here. I spent a lot of time hanging out here at Perch Point, and I need swamplands because that's where you get iron. So I'm starting to kind of source out my next stuff. How long have I been recording? 2 hours. Fuck. Should I put some of this on Patreon? Or that's what I think I need to start doing. Okay. No. No, I don't want to hear about my car insurance. Here's what I got for you, buddy. Oh. Bug bites back, does it? Ooh, got him. You can shoot your own boat, which is I'm trying not to. Classic rookie mistake. I'm fucking this thing up, man. So here's what I'm going to do now. I haven't actually done this solo yet, but you can tell I'm not freaking out, which is a good thing. So let's do a maneuver. Although if I hit that, if I don't, I got to stay in the wind, which is kind of that's the sucky part, because if you turn it away from the wind, you lose it, and then he comes at you hard. But actually, I kind of want to do that. Let's try something here. Turn it. I'm just going to go toe to toe with this thing because I don't want to be moving fast when it dies. Look at this. I'm going to kill it. Slow down. Okay. Let's let it chase. It's almost dead. I've handled this incredibly well. I have a very strong bow, though, so I think that's helping. Watch. Ready? Nope. Hold on. Here. Get it. Ah, I didn't. Okay, the meat floats. That's great. That's fine. Wow, why didn't auto pickup was off? I did that really well. That was confidence building, though. You could turn auto pickup on or off because there's times where it's annoying. So they drop scales and their head sometimes as a trophy. The scales are cool. You can build a shield. So the trick is, I did a great job. That was actually, that was good. You kill it right when it's dying. It is erupting its items, and then you want to jump into it so that the auto pickup sucks all the items in. That was, but I have not faced one of those things together. I have nerves of steel, man. I am just ready. Um, that was cool. Those are awesome, aren't they? Those are so cool. There's like tougher ones in the game. I haven't seen one yet. I've never seen one. There's 1 stars and 2 stars. Um, yeah. There's a rock right there. Oh, I already marked it. Okay. The meat is great. You can do it's got a lot of hit. You got to cook it, but and I was open. I have all this empty inventory. You know, an easy mistake is to not realize your inventory is filled. All right, that was actually next time that happens. I don't think I'll feel as because they don't destroy the boat. So the boat is weakened. Definitely need. We're almost home though. Huh. I think I'm gonna finish the movie Edge of Tomorrow tonight. Been watching it on HBO, kind of working my way through it a little bit. I miss just sitting down for a movie with people without your phones in the 90s, putting on Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh, the boobs are on fire. Oh my God. I miss that. One thing about autism on YouTube is I've avoided searching the algorithm, searching on YouTube. Although I do want to see whatever people are saying because I feel a lot of comfort looking at while watching autistic people talk about autism. And but I've been avoiding the algorithm. We have to kind of guide these things, these weird presences in our lives. I don't. Of course, there's like, use a different account or whatever, incognito. But I just have kept it off the algorithm. But if I start posting this, it's going to be in the captioning, which I think is, yeah, I'm pretty sure YouTube definitely includes that in the algorithm and stuff, and tagging. I don't know. Oh, flag's not, or not the flag, the motor. The motor. All right. What an adventure. To review, we went and rescued our body. You got to learn a lot about autism. You got a great tip for Marquis when you become a Photoshop genius after you pay me money to teach you. Slow down, slow down, slow down here, buddy. Oh, actually, this is it right here. Oh, don't turn that way. We're gonna have to flip it over. There's a deer swimming. Oh, is that a huge one? So the only level 4 fish, that's a big one. The only level 4 fish I've got is a perch. I rarely see what I think are level 3s. I haven't caught very many of those. Pretty cool. But the look at them go. The level 4 perch is huge and cool for the perches. I like that. All right, now we're home. The waves are covering up my thing. We can repair the boat. You just leave it. They don't really drift away, even though they should probably. But yeah, you got to build these little things, and I like to spend time putting them together. Not always necessary. Look, there's some level 1 guy. So now I'm strong. I'm back to take over, and he's messing up my thing. I do not agree. These little fellas are the weakest guys in the game, but their tails are used ingredients. So this whole corner is kind of hilarious because this little swamp chunk spawns these dudes, and there's always deer. There's always these necks, these little guys. There's always boar and some of the other locals, and they just get in fights all day. They these dudes will get triggered and they'll go running out. If they're close enough, it'll trigger their attack instinct, and then they'll go after these things. And so if I hang out around here, it's just a slow accumulation of like meats and shit that comes out. See, they're fighting. He just killed a boar, and they'll chase around the deer, and then sometimes there's skeletons. What's coming after me? Yoink! Let's have a fight. Come on. Oh, you really thought you could... See? I blocked it. There's one up there. But they get distracted killing each other. And then you end up just running around, and you can make food from those guys as well. Skeleton trying to take me out. The other benefit is all these leeches will assemble. Watch, these things are pretty gnarly. I think that one might be a bigger one. And so they'll gather up into a big... Ooh, 2 stars. I don't want to get poisoned by them. They can sting you. But leeches leave blood bags and leech trophies, which are the blood bags are red, basically. That's like a red dye, essentially. Hey, man. You want to have a shooting contest? But then they can't get at me, so they just all gather up here. And then, although when the waves come in, they might. So I can just... Oh. Hold on, my stamina's down. When it's raining, you're wet, and your stamina regenerates slower. That's a big part of the game, is just how fast your stamina is regenerating. Yeah, so this little corner just has, and also the thing is when you're in the swamp, it's like really dark and rainy. But because this little spawn is on this land, it's all in this meadow, so it's nice light. You're not seeing the way it normally looks. And the leeches look like it's dark and scary in the swamps. Like they kind of change. The whole game kind of changes to more ambient. I've been using that word a lot lately. This guy's upset about the sriracha shortage. I am too. What? Uh-oh. Oh, my health was super low. Oh. So this will be fast. No boat trips. I'm not even going to eat anything. If you grab stuff naked, I think it like repopulates your inventory exactly how you had it. Actually, I should eat just something. There we go. So that is... Yeah, maybe I'll play some more of this. I hope you guys like it. If anybody sees this, I don't expect any views. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, it's going on. Like, none of the videos I make don't get views. So, back in the day they did, but it's just consistency. And I'm not even promising that right now. But it's just that this is an itch I've been scratching for a very long time. Come on, motherfucker. Come at me. Come on at me. I got abs. I can sneak. Nope. Run away. Put on your shirt. See, look, everything's right where it needs to be. Put on my Superman cape. Nope, that was a dumb idea, actually. He's still... Although my strength is... But I have no armor. Here, actually. Here, let's do this. Haha. Oh, man, he outsmarted me. This guy is clever. It's his house now. Whoa, don't do that. I mean, I shouldn't have fought him like that. I'm being a little sloppy for entertainment's sake. Yeah, cool. I like the serpent encounter. That was fun. That was a nice confidence builder. All right, you know what? This has been a great experiment. Of course, I went long. Of course, I rambled about autism the whole goddamn time. I've been rambling from autism the entire time I've been doing this show. So, um, if you are with me here, please give me a look. Please consider supporting. I know that's a weird thing to ask for a one video every year channel. That's the pace I'm at right now. But I'm going to work on more. I'm going to do more shorter things. Probably going to do some political crap, but I just want to do podcasts. I honestly, Street Fight Radio is a show I got into last year, and I would call. I literally like talking to Brian, and that they broke up in the middle of it, and then I was calling a bunch, and I never promoted anything on there though, so I don't have, eventually I think I will, and maybe some people from there might come over, but I like that guy, and I like the kind of show he does, and he sort of just has interesting conversations with people, but he lets his personality out, and the fish will also jump up on the land sometimes, which is funny. Yeah, so why did I mention that? But like, I need to connect with other people. Like that's kind of the thing that's always been true, or I've always known that is a core challenge of mine. But like I know I have to. Like there's doing this life kind of thing solo is not led me well. So maybe this is all a good time. Maybe things are changing finally, and we're heading towards better things. But unfortunately, that means I need money. So it's too early to ask, but that's something I'm going to have to get better about. And to justify it, I have to be putting stuff out. So, yeah. All right. That's it. Gonna go eat some food, watch Tom Cruise, save the world. Through science.